we have one change to make Purple Haze a broken stand. Now, Purple Haze is an extremely powerful stand, but in the context of the entirety of JoJo, he can't be a top 10 stand user. It's not possible. Not happening. Now, here's the thing. With this one change, we can improve Fugo's position in Golden Wind, or we can try, or we can prioritize his strength with a larger scope. I think we can do both in this video though, so let's get to it. Well, what are the cons to Fugo's Purple Haze? Well, the biggest thing I'd say is that Stan has a huge problem with control. Not only can the virus attack everyone, but it can also hit Fugo if he isn't on his toes about it. Now, I think that is a huge character defining thing about the Stan, because that's a significant thing about Fugo. As a temperamental person, you know, who could and would swing on whoever is aggravating him, it reflects in the Stan's virus. You could see the Stan's virus as Fugo's anger. It's one of his biggest flaws. I don't want to call it a flaw, but it is. But removing it would just change such a key thing about him, you know? So I kind of want to retain the lethality of the Stan, but maybe just improve other aspects. For example, Fugo gaining the ability to control the potency of the virus even at a distance. The 3 gold capsules on each hand of Purple Haze still do what they do, but now picture Purple Haze is able to release a secondary virus that he can deactivate, or with the termination of one of his capsules, he can drastically improve the potency. That sounds cool. Now, not only would this be able to subdue the enemy without killing them, he'd also gain a whole new role as interrogator of the group. Imagine that Fugo didn't immediately kill Aluzo, but instead, he has this new virus that makes Aluzo wish he was dead instead. But, you know, he'd still be alive. But I guess, well, the issue with that is the fact that I think that most La Squadra members would rather die than squeal. And the same problem would be with Diavolo's guards too. They're they stand on it. So this interrogation ability would be only cool for, I guess, non-stand users. And if that's the case, we already have Giorno, who can heal the users anyways, and he can get away with a lot more because he can heal. But if we solely focus on controlling it without the idea of a secondary virus, I guess, just the fact that you can control the potency. So imagine we're in a 1v1 with Vanilla Ice, the stand user. If we give Purple Haze the ability to control the virus, he could completely break all of his capsules and reduce the potency to 0 while it's around him, but outwardly it's doing all the damage. That would mean Vanilla Ice would already be infected, so that even if he does jump into his stand, Cream, he'd already be dead before he'd be able to do anything to Fugo. This is with the idea that, you know, Vanilla Ice is standing outside for a little bit, and he's like, oh, okay, his stand's about to do something. But even then, the virus acts way too fast for Vanilla Ice to continue to live. As for Fugo, he wouldn't really survive getting punched in the chest by Dio. You know, it's a pretty big issue. But I think that being able to force a lot of ties in battles would make him a strong contender, because, yeah, say that he does get punched in the chest by Dio, but he got all of his capsules broken too, or just even like enough of them. Dio would be dead in that instance. The only way to take care of Fugo would be to stop him before he gets to do anything, or have something that completely nullifies him, like Gold Experience Requiem, for example. And I think I can live with that being the case, because, you know, I don't want to make him ridiculous. Like, if the one change, like being a time and space thing, wouldn't really make any sense, and that's a lot extra, to be honest with you. I also don't think that adding more capsules would be any better. I've seen a lot of people talk about that. I like the idea of that. Or also, you know, improving his strength or speed. I don't think that would really do much of a job at all to put him into a better position in the grand scheme of things, because strength and speed are cool, you know, but they aren't the key things that get it over top tier stand users. Like, being a bit faster is cool and all. It would make him, I guess, better than, like, let's say there's other stand users around his level, then yeah, okay, he'd be better than them, but what exactly does that do to someone, you know, who can stop time? Or someone with infinite speed? Yeah, it doesn't really do much. I wouldn't think so. But, you know, even with this ability, though, it's rough for Fugo, because as much as I want to make this something that would be like, oh, okay, this would help him further on his journey into the rest of the part, that still requires Fugo to believe in the group and himself to want to stick around and be a member of Bruno's team. As strong as this new ability is, I think that Fugo would actually just still not participate in the rest of the journey because, you know, he doesn't know what stand users are out there. We know because we freaking completed the part, but in the context of JoJo, Fugo doesn't know what the heck is about to happen. Anything could be out there. And Diavolo had Italy on lock, so Fugo not wanting to participate in that, it's more than just an ability thing. It's a character thing. So while yes, I'd say that we've improved Fugo and made him a larger part of the team, potentially, I think that it would still require him to face his fears in a way that he hasn't done before. So he's most likely not going to do it. And I don't really blame him because, you know, I saw John Wick 4, which means now I've seen the entire John Wick franchise, and you're telling me that I could potentially fight a bunch of guys with stands like that? Like, imagine being Fugo and, like, just the idea that there's that many people out there. It's a whole country. And nah, I wouldn't do that either. But, you know, Fugo is strong now, or stronger, and I guess that does really help. Certain fights, he actually does really become a whole new contender because it's all like, yeah, sure, say Dio does punch him through the chest, as long as he collapses his capsules, and he'd be good in that instance because fast acting, can't get rid of it, yada yada yada. He'd do an amazing job. And you know, if Pucci actually gave Fugo time to act and collapse the capsules, it would work on Pucci even faster, you know. But that's not, probably wouldn't happen like that. Pucci could just chop off his hands at a ridiculous amount of speed, and that wouldn't really help Fugo. But, you know, it would be a cool idea that he could have done it. That's basically it. But I'm happy to have done this because Fugo's a really cool character, and I do enjoy talking about him. So this adds another additional stand to my list of changed characters. I'm telling y'all, I'm building a sizable roster. About to do a tournament with all of these concept stands or some sort of versus thing, maybe like versus concept stand versus concept stand. That'd be really freaking cool. But yeah, hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, peace out and Godspeed.